say
But
that...
and I'm not saying I support abolishing the Civil Rights Act, by the way.
Okay, but for you to say that, a person born from two immigrants doesn't deserve to be born here or have U.S. citizenship because they didn't earn anything.
Not the two immigrants, the two illegal immigrants.
Even this argument, and it sucks because Charlie Kirk, he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to say I didn't say that or I didn't mean that. So we're just going off of he say, she say.
Thank you.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi. This is my first time ever speaking, about anything. So I did write a little bit down.
Talk a little close to the mic.
Okay, I did write a little bit down.
Totally okay.
To talk about, and I really just want to talk about Charlie Kirk and things like that. So just give me time.
Yeah, no worries.
But
take your time.
For me personally, as a black woman in America, I don't have really any empathy for him, to be honest, because of the things that he spoke about, the words that came out of his mouth.
So I'm sure everybody who's clicked this video knows what happened to Charlie Kirk. And believe it or not, this is the first video that I've recorded since he's passed away. I went live with my father while he was supposedly in the hospital during that time. But this is the first video I've recorded since that happened, very intentionally. But this video is about a young black woman who says she has no empathy for Charlie Kirk because of his quotes. I don't know all his quotes. I really watched his student debates, but let's see what the quotes she has to say are. I have seen some quotes floating around online that he said, but they're going to debate her or discuss the quotes. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
Saying, hurtful and hateful things, I don't feel like me or anyone else here, if we don't have empathy for him, should be ridiculed or, talked about bad for not having empathy for him.
Yeah, I can't force you to have empathy for Charlie. I have a lot of, honestly, Charlie's death has devastated me, and I know that it's devastated a lot of other people around me. We actually have a friend who spoke to Charlie the night before he died. We're just like, it's just hard for us, right? So, but I can't force you to have empathy for Charlie. The only thing that I have an issue with, like an active, proactive issue with, is when people celebrate his death, because I don't think that anybody who's a peaceful person who was killed for their words should be murdered. Can I ask you what hurtful and hateful things Charlie said?
Okay, so him stating that it's okay for that gun deaths should happen to withhold the Second Amendment was wrong. Him saying that empathy was a made-up word. Him saying that the Civil Rights Movement was a mistake. Even him talking about Juneteenth and how that shouldn't be a holiday when it literally ended slavery and is a way to, uplift people from moving on from slavery and things like that. The words that he spoke targeted black people, women, LGBTQ people, immigrants. Him saying even that people born here in the United States from immigrants shouldn't be allowed in the U.S. is wrong as well. I also feel like
just to clarify, you don't.
Could we hear that list just one more time? Because I want to go through some of these. And by the way, there's at least one in there that I disagree with Charlie on, and that's Juneteenth. I think that Juneteenth should be celebrated. I don't know why Charlie said this. I don't know the context around the quote, but I think if not for anything else, all Republicans should support Juneteenth, because guess who freed the slaves? Abraham Lincoln. He was a Republican, the first Republican, and we shouldn't have slavery in the country. I don't know why that's not something that we should all agree on, but for the conservatives listening, Juneteenth should be celebrated, if not for anything other than, if you don't care about slaves, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican and he did it. Slaves were freed in the North by 1804, though. That was 5 years before Lincoln was born.
What president made Juneteenth a federal holiday?
I'm not sure who it was.
It was Trump.
It was Trump?
It was Trump in 2019 or 2020, whichever one it was.
What were the other statements?
Okay. He talked about Juneteenth. He talked about. He said that U.S. people born from immigrants in the United States should not be.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
I agree with this 100%. I think that there should be by the way, almost the entire world had this doctrine. It's called just soil doctrine, where the child of a person, as long as they're born on American soil, is an American citizen.
2019.
There's only 4 countries in the world now that have this just soil doctrine. The United States is one of them. This doctrine in the United States comes from the 14th Amendment. The author of the 14th Amendment, he was a senator. And before he died in the late 1800s, he talked about...
One thing I do like about this creator, his name is, Cam Higgby. He just hit 100,000 subscribers. Shout out to Cam Higgby. Is that he explains his beliefs. And a lot of times online, people don't do that. They do it so that you can understand. But honestly, people can come online and say clickbaity things that will get them more views and get them more notoriety, but not explain their views. But he does not do that. He explains everything. And he honestly followed up by saying he doesn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said. I do understand people not agreeing with Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was a conservative and a lot of people on the left do not agree with him. The problem comes in when people are almost rooting for his death. And not only are they rooting for it, they're finding reasons to root for it. And I've started to know this because I've reacted to a lot of Charlie Kirk's stuff on my channel. And a lot of people are just now finding out who Charlie Kirk is, which makes sense. He wasn't the president or in Congress. He was a influencer at the end of the day. But they're finding reasons not to follow him, which is fine. But it's a little disingenuous because you don't understand his full body of work and you don't understand everything he's done. But if you're just going out and looking for reasons to push him down, or on the other end, if you're going out just looking for reasons to hold him up, that's not really fair to who he was. But let me know what you guys think.
What he meant by this. And what he meant by this was that the children of diplomats, aliens, and foreigners would not be American citizens. You have to have one parent who is a citizen of the United States, or possibly two parents who are permanent residents. You can't just hop the fence and come have a baby and then that baby is automatically an American citizen. They have no connection to this country. They've done nothing to earn it. They shouldn't be an American citizen just because their parents have jumped the fence.
Okay, what did you guys do to earn to be here?
I was born to two American citizens.
Okay, so what did they do to be born here? Like
They're foreigners and they're aliens. I'm not an alien or a foreigner.
That's been in my
and
head
the author
for
of the
4
14th
years.
Amendment specifically said that the citizenship in the United States will not apply. By the way, this applies. This is the same as the Civil Rights Act that came just before the 14th Amendment,
which he also said was a mistake.
No, he was talking about the Civil Rights Act of '56. I don't know Charlie's reasoning for this. I've heard arguments against the Civil Rights Act, not ones that talk about like it's in a non-racist way.
He said it's the most radical position that he has. So it's like majority of conservatives don't really agree with that. I don't know his argument either. I
know some. Like I think that the market should be able to decide who they get business to and who they don't get business to, and not in the like you shouldn't be served at a restaurant. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if somebody's racist and doesn't want you to eat at a restaurant, I want to know who the hell that person is so that I can not give them my business rather than forcing them to give people they hate business. I would rather know who they are so I can boycott them. But
for you to say
that, and I'm not saying I support abolishing the Civil Rights Act, by the way.
Okay, but for you to say that, a person born from two immigrants doesn't deserve to be born here or have U.S. citizenship because they didn't earn anything.
Not to two immigrants, to two illegal immigrants.
Even this argument, and it sucks because Charlie Kirk, he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to say, I didn't say that or I didn't mean that. So we're just going off of he say, she say. And even now, I don't want to speak for him. But I think I've watched a lot of his student debates specifically where I can speak on this issue. No one is saying that people born of immigrants shouldn't be here. He didn't say that. I'm not going to say no one, but he didn't say that. Obviously, I'm not saying that. In his arguments, because as I remember, he was saying that people use, a lot of illegal immigrants use that plot hole to have children who are citizens in the United States. And he's trying to close that plot hole off. And he didn't even specify illegal immigrants in this discussion. He was saying people visit America when they're 2 weeks off from having a child just so their child can have dual citizenship. He was closing that plot hole off. So now that we're turning this into an immigration debate, because this specific discussion wasn't even really immigration. He was just saying that people are abusing America's laws so that their child can be a citizen of the United States. and something like that can be problematic. Which I agree with. I don't even think that's a crazy take.
So I think in most countries now that have abolished just soil doctrine, most of them allow people to become citizens if they're born to 2 permanent residents on the soil of the country. Those are immigrants, of course, permanent residents. They're not citizens. But I think that you need I don't know how I feel about 2 permanent residents, but you need at least one parent that is an American citizen. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just want to also add that I'm an immigrant. I came to the country legally. I don't think Charlie Kirk is against immigrants like myself. He's against people abusing our laws or violating our laws, which illegal immigrants tend to do. And then they come to our country and abuse a loophole that allows them to have a kid in the country. And now you have 2 illegal immigrants with a U.S. citizen.
And by the way, this...
Yes, that's what he was saying. And obviously, in this instance, now it's really complicated because if you deport the 2 illegal immigrant parents in this instance, they can use the argument, well, I already have a family here. I already have a career here. But that's the problem. That's what Charlie Kirk was saying. Like, it just complicates the entire process. Now you have an orphan in the United States if the parents are deported, which makes things even worse. But the reason I pause is because this young lady evidently doesn't know Charlie Kirk. She didn't follow Charlie Kirk, but she's against Charlie Kirk because of what the media tells her, or because of quotes that he said, or that she's read on Twitter or TikTok or so on. And I would advise her to go through and watch some of his debates and watch what he actually says, rather than seeing a 10 or 20-second clip online. Not to agree with him, but just to see where he's actually coming from, so that you know if you agree or you know if you disagree. Because if you just allow the media to push you in a direction and you deep down don't know if this is the right direction, you are very easily fooled and you can very easily be brainwashed.
So I just told you about how the author of the 14th Amendment specifically and very clearly outlined that this would not apply to foreigners, the children of diplomats, or aliens. The Supreme Court decision that caused this, that we now just allow anybody to be an American citizen, is Wong, Kim, Ark. Okay, and it was done roughly 15 years after the author of the 14th Amendment died. They waited for him to die, and then they totally desecrated the document that he wrote and ratified.
Senator Howard.
Okay.
1863.
He also said to bring back public executions.
I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think the person who killed Charlie Kirk should be publicly executed. I don't support the death penalty. I'm exaggerating, of course, but I don't support the death penalty. I see how it could be useful. The only reason I don't support the death penalty is not because I don't see the utility in it, or I don't think people should be killed for awful crimes. It's only because I have a hard time trusting the government. This is actually probably something a lot of you would agree with. We have an exoneration rate that's far too high, and that includes people who sit on death row. And I don't trust the government to definitively be able to put somebody to death. I think that you always need to... The exoneration process is a check and balance on the justice system, and you get to sit in prison until you die. And during that entire time, between when you go to prison and when you die, you are able to file appeals and get yourself out of prison if you're there wrongfully, and then sue the government for wrongful imprisonment. So I don't support the death penalty, but if we could, for some reason, 100% convict somebody, like we know for like an omniscient fact that this person is 100% guilty of doing a school shooting or some other horrific crime, I say televise it.
Can I just ask you, are you against public executions?
Yes.
Okay, even in the case, we have this case that was inspired by racism, right? It was a white supremacist in northern New York, I believe it was Buffalo. He went into rifle. Okay, there you go. He went into the grocery store, targeted black people, killed them because of their race. 9 of them, I believe it was. Do you believe this person should just rot in jail, or would you like to see this individual be put in public and executed?
I feel like if we were going to do the death penalty, that shouldn't be something that's public. It should just be done.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is just like a preference of like, what we... I think this ends up being more of like a preference or like a debate of slippery slope or something like that. I think if you could 100% prove that somebody of like heinous crimes actually did it, like a school shooter or the Buffalo shooter, for example, who had the N-word on his rifle and went and targeted black people, I think those people should be publicly executed. I say televise it.
So they stopped doing it.
I was going to say something really prolific, but I forgot what it was.
But I just want to add, like with the death penalty, I believe that regardless of how much due process you get, at some point, if you...
Let me say this to y'all real quick.
We're going to keep talking. We're engaged in civil debate here.
Do not need to be debated about it. If y'all believe in something, stand for it. Walk away from this.
Hey, give him a...
Who is he? Who is this guy cutting off the debate and saying what they should or shouldn't debate about? And this is one thing that I think Charlie Kirk actually stood for. He went to schools and debated people. Whether or not you agreed or disagreed, he allowed you the platform to say, I disagree with you and prove him wrong. Which is one reason why I really enjoyed his videos, because sometimes he was wrong and he got proven wrong in front of 1,000 kids. And I would say, Charlie Kirk, you're wrong about this. But nowadays, people don't want you to go anywhere. They want you to sit inside all day, type behind an anonymous profile, and just spread hate or misinformation all day. When we actually had a person who went outside and said, no, I'm going to talk to people.
Mike, can you come up to the mic and discuss it? Okay. So that's a good example of not liking public discourse, right? At the end of the day, Kim and I may have a difference in opinion from you guys, but America is literally founded on the idea that we can disagree publicly, peacefully, and do so.
And we want all of you to have a voice. That's why we're here. That's why we put a mic in front of you guys and give you the opportunity to come up here and speak in front of a lot of people. There's a lot of people watching at home, and I think it's important that everybody see these debates. And so I'm sorry you got cut off.
It's fine. I also feel like a lot of people are now coming out to talk about how he died, but I don't see anyone talking about people in Gaza. I don't see anyone talking about the House Speaker Melissa
Portman.
Yes, and her husband who died.
You don't even know her name. You didn't even know her name. You didn't even know her name. And here's the problem. You're disingenuous. This is all disingenuous to me. It's an act. You didn't even know her name. Melissa, you don't know her name. And you're talking about Gaza. It's okay to talk about Gaza, but the reason people are talking about Charlie Kirk is because Charlie Kirk got assassinated on an American campus. That's why. In front of 1,000 American students. So, and it just sucks, bro. We're back to where we were. This is crazy. Let me know what you all think about this. My name is LFR Jojo, and I'll see you all.